And one of the things that struck me was, after 8 years teaching there, that still a lot of UAE nationals were very passive. Although they have great ideas, they don't put them in action. And they don't really want to take that first step. So I started researching ways of changing this, and I came across an organization called the Jubilee Sailing Trust in the UK, who sails with half of the crew are people with a disability, and the other half are people that are fully able. And they sail tall ships like the Pirates of the Caribbean. And they sail them around the world. They have 2 ships. They're the only organization that does this. I got really interested in this, and so the next summer what happened is I booked myself on a trip. I went there, and for 1 week I was a buddy of someone who was disabled. I had to look after someone that was disabled. I've never worked with people with a disability before. So it was a bit scary. But the experience that I had there, learning together with 38 other people to sail a tall ship and to work with people that are disabled, was a mind shift for me. And I just want to tell you a little bit more about that. Before I do so, I would like to ask you a question. It's a strange question. But if you had to choose, it's a multiple choice question, so it shouldn't be too hard, correct? So, what would you choose? And inshallah, you never have this. It will never happen to you. But if you had to choose between these 3 options, which one would you choose? If you had to make a choice between being blind, being deaf, or in a wheelchair, which one would you choose? Let's analyze that for a minute. Being blind. What happens if you are blind? Obviously you can't see anything. What does that mean? You can't see the grass. You can't see the trees. You can't see the water. You can't see the water go through the wadi. You can't see your children. You can't even see your parents. Life would be totally different, correct? We feel sorry for people that are blind. What about being deaf? If you're deaf, what happens then? You can't hear anything. You can't hear the music. Watching a movie is going to be totally different. You can't hear people talk. Life would be totally different, wouldn't it? We feel sorry for people that are deaf. And if you're in a wheelchair, well, your life will change totally. Because going somewhere will take a totally different meaning. You can't just go for a walk. Go to the park, go for a walk on the beach, together with your children or the rest of your family. Life would be different. We feel sorry for people that are in a wheelchair. And you know what? What I learned on this trip for a week? That people that are disabled, they don't want you to feel sorry. They just want to be treated like everybody else. They don't want your pity. They just want you to see what they can do, not what they cannot do. Because one of the things that we do all the time, when we see people that are disabled, we focus straight away on the things that they cannot do. We should focus on the things that they can do. Being blind, when I did my MBA, quite some time ago, one of the other students was a blind person. Now she runs a company with some 300 people. People that are deaf, believe me, they can be very, very good artists. And people that are in a wheelchair, they can do multiple things. They can do so many things. They can be business people. You can do anything. And so they want you to look at what they can do, and they want you to look and treat them like everybody else. So our aim at Sail Arabia is to help people. To help people like you and I to see over this, because we are in a way disabled. We are in a way disabled because we cannot see over those issues. And we make it difficult for people that are disabled. So Sail Arabia will want to help you get over that disability. We want to help people that are disabled to integrate into society, to become part of it, rather than be separated. And I've seen this happening in the UK. Originally I'm from Holland. I've seen it happening in Holland. And organizations there have for 30 years doing this. When 30 years ago the Jubilee Sailing Trust started, what happened there? People said you should build a hospital ship. You should not build a ship where everybody has to work together. How can you work together between people, yeah, where you have disabilities and people that have no disabilities? It's too dangerous. And you know what? It's totally changed. 25 years later, we now work with people with disabilities. People with disabilities and in wheelchairs are just in the society like everybody else. They have jobs. They do things. Everyone contributes to society. That's the idea. Everyone needs to contribute. So we need to help people to value and make the most of what they have, to understand what their talents are and what they can do and how they can make a difference. How? How can we do that? By showing what can be done. And if I can show you on a trip that you can learn how to sail a tall ship with a group of people that are in wheelchairs and people that are blind and visually impaired and, or hearing impaired or other disabilities, you'll be amazed. You come out of it after a week and you say, wow, if this is possible, we can do a lot more. So we promote active citizenship. To show you what happened on a week, I went on a trip. I tried it out with some of my students. And so some of the people were disabled and some of the people were fully able. And we tried it out and we went on a trip with the Jubilee Sailing Trust around the Canary Islands. This was a 7-day trip. And we made a short video that will show you exactly what happened on the trip, rather than me telling you this is much, much more effective. So enjoy this 3-minute video.
What the Tenacious and Lord Nelson do is really pretty different. It's as well as being a sort of personal development thing, you're actually kind of contributing. You know, you're going on holiday, but you're giving something back at the same time.
We've got some people in wheelchairs, we've got some people who are on sticks, like me, but there are some able-bodied people, and so yeah, there's a vast spectrum of people on this boat, and that's what makes it so enjoyable, because there are so many people here who experience different things, and they can share that with you and help to see how you can help them and they can help you.
Everybody joins in, and I can't think of a better way to learn to get on with people and get that sort of confidence and a feeling of survival.
So they are in charge of doing all the sail handling, setting sail, taking in sail. They keep watches, they helm the ship, they take the ship alongside, take it back out to sea. They do sort of a bit of navigation under the supervision of the permanent crew, and cleaning.
Yeah, it's just part of real life. Perhaps some of us have forgotten about, really, and clearly there's some tasks that aren't as good as others.
You have to do everything on the ship. If you're not, you're made to, right from the beginning.
On one of the first trips I did, there was a young fellow, I think he had maybe cerebral palsy, he had quite limited movement, he was in a wheelchair, and I think he was kind of, perhaps a little bit, you know, at home he was treated a little bit kind of gently and everything was done for him and so on, and he just, in a week, he was just amazingly different, because he was delighted to be allowed to do stuff. You know, when you said, right chaps, it's, you know, time to do the dishes now, he was over the moon. I've never seen anybody so pleased to dry dishes ever.
Well, one thing I've noticed a lot is that the tendency that people kind of think, oh, disability is all about wrapping people up in cotton wool. But the thing about this boat is that it's just not. It's about getting on with it. And if you don't get on with it, then the boat won't sail. I suppose it's a bit like life, really. I
know the first time I came sailing, I'd never really had anything to do with anybody with a disability before, and really didn't know how to react.
Because of the way the ship's designed, disabled people are able to take often an independent role in activities that, even for the able-bodied person coming on the ship, are new to them.
For 40 plus people all coming together and pulling their weight to get a vessel like this sailing successfully takes a huge amount of human endeavour. And at one point you've got Carl sailing the ship with an automated joystick. It was really quite special. There just couldn't be, there isn't anything else like that in the world.
And I never cease to be surprised how often someone with often quite severe disabilities turns out to have uncanny abilities in other areas.
I don't know what to say really, it's just perfect.
Ollie particularly has grown so much. It's just worth every penny.
A lovely comment I've had many times when people have left is someone leaving the ship saying, they're never going to believe me when I go back home, and I tell them what I've been doing. And yet on this ship, that's normal. People do things they just don't believe they could do. And giving money to the trust allows that to happen for so many people.
The Jubilee Sailing Trust has changed the lives of over 27,000 people. Some local UAE students joined in this adventure of a lifetime. Sail Arabia is taking up the challenge to change lives in the UAE. To do this, we need your help now.
So what are we trying to do with Sail Arabia? We're really setting up the initiative to do three things. Integrate people with special needs, with disabilities in society. Make people aware and make people work together. Because we can learn from them. Like Jalal was saying, you know, we can learn a lot from them. Developing positive attitudes and active participation. People can be active. They need the confidence to do something. Once they've done it for the first time, you will see that they can do anything. And they have to take that first step. That's what we teach people on these trips. And thirdly, promoting Arabian culture and heritage. The idea is not to use a sailboat like you see here, which is Western technology, but build an Arabian dhow, a very large Arabian dhow, yeah, like one of 40 or 45 meters, that can take 40 people. But these dhows used to sail here. They used to sail here, and they remind you of your heritage. So the initiative is really two parts. First of all, building the dhow. When you go now around and even look in Ajman, where dhows are being built, they're all made of PVC, correct? They're not made of wood anymore. We start to forget, very, very quickly, we might have a window of about 10 years where we can still do this and capture that knowledge and make sure that we can capture that for generations to come. So build a dhow, an authentic Arabian dhow with facilities inside for able and disabled people. Secondly, organize visits to this building site. Make it like an open museum, a living museum. Get people involved to help building it, designing it, making sure that everyone gets involved and working and getting involved in making this happen. So invite people from universities and schools to visit, etc., to understand a little bit about their maritime heritage. Because for a lot of UAE nationals, I find everyone is going to the desert and is quite happy there and doing these things. But not a lot of people go to the sea. And that's an area that we forget about, I think. So promoting culture and heritage, understanding maritime heritage, building a cultural identity and a national pride, a pride of where you come from. When I say to people, square sails, like on the ship that you saw, the big tall ships have all square sails. Here in the UAE, we have triangular sails. Now, every sailing race is triangular sails. Where does this come from? It comes from Arab technology. Way, way, way back. If I ask people, who was Ahmed ibn Majid? They say to me, oh yeah, I know. So what did he do? Oh, I can't remember. Yep. I really think there is a lot to be proud of within the Arab world in the maritime area. The initiative, part 2, would be after the boat is built, and it might take 4 or 5 years to build a boat like this, is sail it. And sail it, organize trips in front of the UAE coast, from Abu Dhabi to Fujairah. And maybe eventually from Kuwait to Muscat. And get all the GCC involved. Get people involved, not just from the UAE, but make it an organization that allows everyone in the Arab world to come on board and to experience this. And maybe eventually sail around the world. And add to events, add an Arabic focus. Be a cultural ambassador for the Arab world where we can show what our technology is like. Special needs facilities. Inside the boat, there should be things like lifts. And there should be special bed lifts like you see here, special bathrooms for people with disabilities so they can be independent and can do everything else what everybody else can do. Results, well, what are the results from this? Are creating active citizens. I think I skipped one, no. Get a change in attitudes. Become more positive. Get increase in confidence. An increase in self-awareness. What we can do on the boat is, once this boat is there, we can use it for 25 to 30 years. It's like a building. It's like an investment in a building. And so we can run special needs awareness programs, environmental awareness programs, active community involvement. One of the people that is involved with us came up with an idea and says, why don't we set a personal challenge? When people leave the boat, I want them to do a personal challenge where they say, this is what I'm going to change within my community. And then follow that up. Results, active citizens. Can it be done here in the UAE? Can it be done in the Middle East? Well, programs like this for young people are done in the US, in Canada, all over Europe, in New Zealand, in Australia. So why can't we do it here? I really think we should be able to do it in the Middle East as well. Do we need it? With the number of road accidents we have in the world, in 10,000 accidents per year, I think we need it. If you look at what's going to happen with the diabetes issues within the UAE, I think we need it. And we get an elderly population. So my dream is really have a completed dhow by 2015. And then start sailing around the UAE coast. And be an example to the Gulf and the world of how we can deal with people with disabilities. Changing attitudes. So, how does it affect your dreams? I want to inspire you to do what it takes to make it happen, to make a difference. You know what? If you start something like this, like me, half a year before the credit crisis, you're going to have ups and downs, and a lot of downs, okay? And you know what? When you believe in something, when you really want to make it happen, it changes your life. You find the energy. If you want to make the world a better place, then you can do it. And you go and become a lot richer from it. Just in the feelings that you will have for other people. In what you do, the people you meet. The fact that I'm here today and the wonderful people that I meet here today is just another thing, another benefit that you get out of this. If I see what I've done over the last 2 years and the people I've met, it's fantastic. So get involved, take initiative, just do it. Thank you very much.